An eargasm of learning and a no-fuss show. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast, where you can learn straightforward topics about branding, digital entrepreneurship, online business, and many more with your charming host, John Santos, along with inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders worldwide.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast with me, John Santos, and we have a special guest. Why? You will know later, but I am so excited to have this special guest here with us in the show. Our special guest for today is best-selling author, a speaker, and an online business coach. Power pack. And I'm sure we are going to learn a lot from this person. She is very beautiful. And I just said congratulations. Why? You will find out why later. I want the news that will come out, from this person. I want her to tell the story. But again, I am very excited. I'm very blessed. And for all our viewers and listeners, you will also be blessed with learnings, wisdom. And, this person is, I'm a fan of her reels, of her, posts, and full of life, fitness, and business. Guys, check her out. Our special guest, let's all welcome ELLE Ross. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jan. That was an amazing introduction. It's an honor to be here, and I'm really excited to share my story and give some tips. So let's dive in.
Yes. ELLE, I know that you are a very busy person, and because of the situation you are right now, which is a good thing. But thank you for, spending time to be here with us in the show.
No, of course. Thank you. Yeah. And so for those of you who don't know, what he's talking about is I am 37 weeks pregnant. So this little baby boy is due to come, it's pretty soon. So super excited about that. That's a big life change that's happening. But there's been lots of changes since the beginning of my journey. But definitely a blessing is on his way.
Amen. Now, it is a blessing indeed. So, ELLE, I'm excited, and I know our listeners and viewers are all excited to know your story, because it's very easy for people to, see the top of the iceberg, the success story, but the journey, sometimes it gets, overshadowed. What influenced you, or who influenced you to be in this position of greatness, this platform of authority? The floor is yours, ELLE. Please share.
Yeah, so I would honestly say the motivation I would say actually it's because there was about 6 years ago when I was first starting my journey, I had hit like a really low point in my life. And that at that point, like you can have family and friends, but at the end of the day, the only person that can really pull you out of something like that is yourself. And so what had happened was at that time, I was working a full-time job. I actually ended up losing my full-time job. I was overweight. I was an alcoholic. I was doing drugs. Like I was just doing I wasn't living a very healthy lifestyle. And I was really, truly lost. I didn't have a relationship with God. I don't know what anyone's religious beliefs are, but for me, I'm a big believer now, but at the time I did not have a relationship. And so I was just surrounded by negative, toxic people. And when I got let go from my job, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And rewind before that, I actually am from Washington State in the United States. And I moved across country to Atlanta, Georgia with like no friends, no family, just like $10,000 that I had saved up to try to start this new life. And so when I got let go, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to move back home. And in that moment, I really had to dig deep and like find myself. And so I found that through fitness. So I got a coach, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop hanging out with these friends. And I took 90 days devoted to myself, where like I started meditation, I started prayer. I created a daily routine. I had a calendar, like, okay, I'm going to work out on these days. And it started just like 30 minutes a day. I started meal prepping. And over the course of those 3 months, so much shifted. My mindset shifted, my health improved, my energy. And I started feeling like, okay, I became a new person. Like it was like a rebirth of who I was. And through that transformation was when I fell in love with fitness, and everyone was like, like they saw the change in me. What are you doing? Like, I want to learn what you're doing. Can you help me? And so then I got into fitness, and I started my own personal training business. It was in person at the time. And through that, like that's when my business really started, was within the fitness industry. But it took me having that breakdown that turned into my breakthrough. And that's what led me to write my book, my first book, The Blueprint, which is the 90-day breakdown to breakthrough and shifting your habits to create, the life that you want.
I love that. I love the story. I mean, I can relate. But that's for a different time and a different topic. But let me just throw a question there, Elle, before we continue our conversation. You said that you were in a situation that you were doing a transition, shifting from from point A to point B, from all those negative vices, friends, to a whole new different perspective. What made you do that shift? What happened?
What happened? I would say it was like I literally had a breakdown where I was in my I had a roommate. I was in my room. I didn't leave for like 5 days. I was crying. I called my mom, and my mom is very like spiritual, and she like prayed over me. And when she prayed over me, she's like, "You can do this." And also, one of the things when I first moved here, my grandma I moved here like on a Saturday. I talked to my grandma on a Sunday, and she spoke some words of wisdom in me, like, you can, basically anything you set your mind to, you can achieve. I believe in you're going to do great things in Atlanta. And the next day she passed away. I was the last person she talked to. And so
Wow, goosebumps.
in that moment, like fast forward to this moment where I was like in a deep, almost depression. And my mom prayed over me. She brought back up like what my grandmother told me. And the next morning when I woke up, I was just like, okay, I can do this. I am going to figure this out. I need to like whip myself out of this depression, and I need to just move forward and take action. And so it was just more like a trigger where it's like, I am in control and I can do this. I had to speak those words of affirmation into myself. So, and that's what was the trigger.
I love that. It's a mindset connected to a heart and action altogether. Faith without works is dead. So that's a perfect example for that. I love that, and I respect you for that, Elle. Now with that change in motion, and then you mentioned that the next stage towards your journey was in fitness, and that really did a big part in your journey towards the new you. How did business aspect come into play? When did that happen, and how did that happen from point down, fitness, renewing of everything, and now business?
Okay. So I was in the fitness industry for about 3 to 4 years, full time. I had like a full book of clients and everything. I was loving it. But the crazy thing is, like at the time, like I was online a little bit, but I was primarily in person. I had about 50 clients in person. I was in the gym all day. And in my mind, I was like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to be fully booked. I wanted to have, amazing transformations. But I now didn't have like a life. Like I'm literally living in the gym from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm not even finding time to work out for myself. I'm not finding time to eat. It was just, started becoming stressful. Like the thing that I fell in love with, I wasn't loving so much anymore. And so what the true trigger was, like the year before COVID happened, I was like, okay, people started asking me, other trainers were, hey, how are you growing so fast? How are you always having new clients? What are you doing? And so I decided to start teaching like my method of how I'm getting clients and what does that look like? And so me and one of my business partners now, we partnered together to create this program. And we were pushing it. We didn't really take a lot of time in it, but then the real trigger was was COVID. So COVID happens, everyone's freaking out. Obviously, gyms get closed. And I was like, this is the perfect time to really now focus on the online aspect of my fitness business. And that's exactly what I did. I hired a coach who was already doing online full time. And we learned some of his methodology, put that into my business. And then within like the first 2 to 3 months, now I'm fully online doing personal training. And I was like, oh my gosh, why was I not doing this full time online before? And then through that knowledge that I learned, we put that into our program. And since then, it's continued to evolve. And then this past November, I made the decision that you can't be great in like multiple areas. You have to focus on one. You can be good, but if you really want it to scale and grow, I was like, you need to focus on one. And so this past November, I decided, okay, I'm going to say goodbye to fitness and go full time into the business coaching, helping other fitness professionals. And it was a big leap of faith, but it was the best, another leap of faith that has been prosperous. And I can honestly say, like, I love it. And this is perfect timing, especially now that I have a baby on the way. Like, being online is definitely the way to go. It's definitely possible. And so that was the transition and shift that took me from being a full-time fitness trainer online to now a full-time business coach online, focusing on helping other fitness
Wow. I love if you can visualize the timeline, you can definitely see that there's point A, point B, point C, and you're really moving. And I believe, God is really using your life to make an impact in this world. And I'm so happy to see that transition. Now, Elle, you mentioned some keywords that I am excited to really focus on. You mentioned business, you mentioned online. And having said that, I am excited. And I know our viewers and listeners are excited to learn from you about the topic tips in starting an online business. In this generation, you mentioned when COVID, I believe that, of course, it's a bad things, a lot of things happened, people were scared, and I was one of them. But one good thing that COVID did was it pushed the innovation of the whole world, so to speak, right? So technology is innovated, business is changed, from traditional, now there's a new industry. So I know that you, as an expert in that field, will share a lot of values. So please, tips in starting an online business. Elle, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I would say the first thing you have to do is you first have to know who you are and what you are going to be offering the world or your audience. Because if you don't have a foundation to know who you are, and I'm going to go back to like mindset is going to be the foundation of anything that you do in life, your business, your health, relationships. You really need to have that solidified and have like a belief in yourself that you can, first of all, do this. Once you know who you are and maybe what you're messaging and what you're going to offer, then you need to figure out like, okay, who's going to be your target ideal client? Because some people, especially like I know in the fitness industry, they're like, I help everybody. But at the end of the day, everybody is not the same. People are unique. Mothers are different from women who are not mothers. An 18-year-old is different from someone who is 45. And you really want to get specific on like, who are you going to be helping? And you want to know, not what their problem and their pain point is. And then you are the solution. Like, what is the solution that you're going to offer this person to solve that pain point? And it has to be a deep rooted pain point that when they hear you or they listen to you or they see your offer, it speaks directly to them. And you've got to build rapport along with that. And then also creating valuable content. And there's no such thing as giving away too much. The more value you give, the more rapport you build with that person, the more they trust you as the go-to person, building like that relationship, because it is about relationships. When you build that relationship with that person, then they're going to want to work with you and they're going to be like standing at your door. Okay, where can I sign up? So definitely know who you are, know who your target niche is, know what your offer is, and then having that messaging to convey that you are the solution to that person's problem and pain point.
Wow, powerful, powerful, and straight to the point. I have a follow-up question, Elle, and this is a simple question, but I hear this a lot. Going to, when you say online, the first thing that comes into people's mind is different social media platform, and the question with that is, okay, I have a product or I have some services that I want to offer, or I have a business. Which social platform is okay for me to use? Or, the typical question is, what's the best social media for me to utilize? What's your take on this?
So I would definitely recommend, you have to know your audience. Where does your audience hang out? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on YouTube? You need to know. That's why you have to do that kind of research and understand exactly who your ideal client or niche audience is, because you want to be wherever they're hanging out. Where, we all have these smart devices. Where are they at on their phone all day, where you can pop up and they can see you and your information? So at the end of the day, it's you just have to know who your audience is, and you want to be where they are.
Ooh, see, guys, I am so energized. I learned a lot. Going back, I'm gonna rewind this. L. I love that you mentioned earlier that you mentioned something about the thing that you started, that you love, end up in a situation that stresses you. I want you to share something to all our listeners and viewers that are experiencing that now. A quick message or a quick tip from you to them.
Automation. So as soon as I automated my business, also even in the fitness side, when I started turning things visually online, when I automated it where I wasn't doing so much work manually, it removed so much stress. Before, I didn't have any like background systems and automations in place within my business. I was doing everything manually. And as soon as I turned everything to like automated, like emails that go out automatically, possibly hiring a staff or a team or an intern to handle some of the admin stuff, so then you can really focus on your area of genius. That's where the stress gets decreased. That's where you have more flexibility within your schedule. You have more freedom. Your business is still flowing on autopilot. Now your business is flowing on autopilot, and you can kind of sit back and like that stress is gone.
There you go, guys. There you go. Power tips, perspectives, and a story that really inspires. I'm inspired, and I know you guys are inspired also. Elle, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's early in your time, but full of blessings, full of value. I love your smile. I love your character. I'm such a fan. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But we're not done yet. Nope, we're not done yet, Elle. We started off with learning about your story, and then all those values, all those tips. Now we're in the part that we will play a game. Okay? We call this game the Creative Fast Talk, where we will ask you questions, random questions, and you are not allowed to spend much time in thinking what the right answer is. The first word that comes into your mind, boom, you say it. All right? Question number 1, sun or snow?
Sun.
Structure or chaotic?
Structure.
Love or money?
Love.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
A lion. I don't know. Lions are just so fierce, and like I just feel like they're just so courageous and just strong, fierce beings. Lion.
Right. Okay. Popcorn and movies or dinner and dancing?
Oh, I love popcorn and music. I love dinner and dancing too. That's a hard one. I would say popcorn movies.
Okay. Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Mountains or the beaches?
Beaches.
What are you afraid of, Elle?
I would say I'm afraid of like being in like the middle of the ocean where you can't see the bottom.
Yeah. That's a weird spot to be in.
Yeah.
Movies or books?
Books.
All right. Since you answered that question, there's the following question for that. what are the top 3 books of all time for you?
Oh, okay. I would say The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire by Deepak Chopra. That book I read when I first started my journey. Another book that I read is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, which is like how to get from where you are to where you want to go. That book I probably read 3 times. And then also the Bible. I like to
Mm,
study um, the word.
love that. Love that. What is your favorite color, Elle?
I would say it's like black, red, and white. I don't have one.
Love it. What is your dream superpower and why?
I would like to be able to like have like a vision, like a telepathic, like
Yeah.
when someone's thinking or feeling, like an intuitive feeling of, so I can like read them.
Ooh,
I would love to be able to do that.
very powerful. That's a very powerful trait there. I think there's not much superheroes with that trait because it's so powerful, right? If you can really understand what someone is thinking, you can, it's more than prediction. It's an accurate perspective. You're like God. All right. What is something inside your bag when you were a kid? What is always inside your bag when you were a kid?
I always had like a cocoa butter stick or chapstick in my bag because so I always like, because my lips are pretty full, so they need to stay moisturized. That's like the first thing that came to mind. I always had that, and people thought it was a glue stick, but it wasn't.
Right, right. I love that. I love that. What was the weirdest food you ever tried?
Tarantula.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So in college, I studied abroad in Cambodia for a little bit,
I
and
love Cambodia.
they had fried tarantulas, and I was like, okay, I gotta try it. I gotta try it.
What was the taste? What did it
Okay,
taste
it's so
like?
funny. Like the first thing you say, oh, it tastes just like chicken. It was like fried. It was like fried, and so like you bit into it, it just tastes like a fried piece of meat.
Okay, you knew it was a tarantula before you tried it, right?
Yes, I did.
Wow, very courageous.
First, I held one in my hand. I held a whole like a tarantula in my hand, and then like they gave me a baby tarantula that was fried to try.
You ate a baby tarantula.
Well, it was much smaller than the mother, so yeah.
All right, okay. The last question, I was like lost for a bit with that answer. But our last question is a traditional question here in the show. It may lead to a serious answer depending on how you take this question. Okay. Last question is, if you have the power to bring back someone back from the dead, who would it be and why? Anyone.
Okay, it would be my father.
Hmm.
I say that because the end of right before COVID started, he actually passed away, and we were very close. And now that I'm pregnant with like the first grandson in the family, I just wish that my son will be able to have a relationship with his grandfather,
Hmm.
know him. I know he would have loved him. And then also, this past year, a lot happened. Like I got engaged, I got married, and my dad wasn't able to be there. And so just to have him back, even if it was just for a day when I after giving birth, I would love to have him back.
Well, Elle, I know that he is so proud of you, watching over you and just cheering you up as you continue your journey towards success.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Elle, thank you so much. Sharing your stories, sharing those learnings, and playing the game. We discovering you ate a baby tarantula, which tastes like chicken. Thank you so much, Elle. Thank you so much. Feel free to promote any social media accounts, events, releases. The floor is yours, Elle.
Yeah, so on social media, all of my social media will be at the ELLE Ross. That's on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. YouTube it's Be Fit with Elle, but any social platform, Twitter. Also, in regards to if you are a fitness professional and you are looking to scale, grow, and automate your business online, and you're wanting to get out of that trap where you might be in the gym right now still from 6 to 8 p.m., make sure to also go and follow the brand trainers. That is where we teach you how to automate your fitness business, launch your online program, and create more financial flexibility and freedom within your life.
There you go, guys. Connect with ELLE. Take it from me. I'm sure she can help you in your journey towards success. Elle, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jan. It was an honor to be here.
All right, guys. Always remember, have a positive outlook in life. Smile. God bless.
Thank you for being with us here on the Creative Talk Podcast. I'm your host, John Santos. Don't forget to listen and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. See you again, always.